For the first ever martial arts film festival, we set out to do more than simply introduce each film. We wanted to create a tribute. In just 48 seconds, this animated trailer journeys through 50 years of martial arts cinema. It's a salute to the legends, the legacy, and the unforgettable soundtracks that helped define the genre. This is a behind-the-scenes look at how the animation and music came together through early Zoom strategy sessions, creative concepting, stylistic research, rattlesnake-inspired sound design, the warmth of live musicians, and the thoughtful use of Asian-influenced orchestral libraries. Every detail, visual, and music was chosen to honor the spirit of martial arts storytelling. My name is Christopher Caliendo, and I had the honor of composing the score. Now let's take a look at the journey behind this animated tribute, starting with the challenges that shaped it. Capturing the 5 decades of martial arts cinema in just 48 seconds was no small task. The biggest challenge? Making each era visually and musically distinct, yet part of a seamless journey. Animator Ricardo Ramirez and I collaborated remotely, uniting visual storytelling and musical pacing across time zones and tools. And from day one, Ricardo faced the enormous task of creating a time-traveling sequence that honored multiple styles, eras, and cinematic traditions, all in under a minute. Ricardo shares the creative and technical hurdles we faced and how he brought the animation to life.
The challenges and the things I overcame with this project were really interesting. We really had to show clips of martial art movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on. And so, I really wanted to create a really interesting motion because we're dealing with film, we're dealing with old movies, and iconic martial artists, and I really wanted to showcase as much as we can. And Leo really wanted me to showcase all these iconic movies that he sent me to use. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this as a movie film reel, coming across from, left to right, and then kind of showcasing different clips, short clips of maybe the most exciting parts, action parts, right? Where they're kicking, punching, doing a lot of emotion. And so after I figured out which clips of the timing was the best, I started implementing them on these reels.
From day one, we knew this wasn't just a trailer, it was a tribute. You're looking at Ricardo's early visual concept before any notes were written. I always prefer to receive their first iteration without music. It gives me a raw sense of timing, pacing, and emotional flow. And from there, I began sculpting the musical vocabulary. I pulled from virtual instrument libraries that offered a rich blend of traditional Asian textures and cinematic depth. For example, bamboo flutes, the Chinese diji, the Japanese koto, the Chinese zither, taiko drums, moon guitar, and drones. Even a rattlesnake effect, crafted by sampling myself hissing into a microphone, found its place as a subtle nod to desert stealth and suspense. Musically, I wanted each decade to feel distinct yet cohesive. The 70s needed grit, the 80s a sense of rising heroism, the 90s a sweeping elegance, and the 2000s and 2010s cinematic edge. And to capture these textures, I laid orchestration with modern samples and even some unconventional sound design. Ricardo sent me another iteration, and I continued to work on developing the orchestration and texture of the piece.
The new version of the animation that I'm working on is going to have a little bit more detail with the motion. We're going to insert some 3D into the logo and just kind of give it a little bit more depth to the animation. And also we've been working back and forth with Christopher, right? And, just giving us feedback with the timing and with the beats of the music that he's been applying, which is wonderful, by the way. We really love it. And we're super excited to show the evolution that's coming up next.
The session featured musicians who brought enormous life and depth to the score. My violinist, Esther Witherell, performed the sweeping pentatonic melody, which I layered multiple times to create a violin section sound. John Barcelona used a flute with the glissando head joint attachment, capturing the soft, meditative, and expressive sound of the jiao, a traditional Chinese vertical end-blown bamboo flute. The glissando head joint mimicked the Zhao's sound, enriching the score with a traditional flavor. And finally, Kristen Caliendo's use of the piccolo's low register created mysterious, eerie, and supernatural effects within the orchestral writing. The final mix and master was handled by Mark Kiefner in our LA studio, which accentuated the score's percussive elements, masterfully balancing the orchestration to create a resounding climax.
I think you're going to find this one really fun. Instead of going after a big room sound from an engineering perspective, we decided to put it in a smaller a venue that has more air, like a tent, a large tent or something like that, so you could really get the sense of the organic feel of the instruments, the taiko drums, the bamboo flutes, the zither, koto, all these things that tie together to create that sound that really embraces 50 years of martial arts. It's quite amazing. I hope you enjoy it.
And here it is, the final rendition.
To bring 50 years of martial arts to life under a minute. What a ride.
It was amazing to see 50 years of animation unfold in this piece, and I'm proud to be part of something this iconic.
I hope you enjoyed our tribute to 5 decades of martial arts films. We are honored to contribute a musical animated voice to this historic festival's debut.